Hello, it's Neil Walters, and it's Thursday, and I was just opening my Town Star to play for the day, get my daily rewards, and to just update you on how my game has been going since the big reset. So the other day, I posted some of the beginning layouts I was doing here in this desert town, and today this interesting thing popped up. More advanced goods. Build a windmill and start milling flour. We know that. Make more money by selling more advanced goods. Okay, I guess it's just a new pop-up. I thought maybe it was going to give some more instructions, but it doesn't, right? Anyway, it's something they're changing, hopefully improving. And I want to show you where I was the other day on my last video, and I'll show you what I've changed since then. So this is the little screenshot I added at the end of my last video, because even I was editing my last video, I did some updates to the game, because it can take 30, 40 minutes to an hour to edit a video for better quality for you guys. And this is where I was at. So everything in red was something I added that actually wasn't in the video that I was recording. And since then, I've done a lot of things, but I did it all within a day. Today's Thursday, so I did most of this yesterday. I left it running on another laptop all day, and just about every hour I would pop in and do maybe 5 or 10 minutes of work, and then just let it run. And then I'd come back again an hour later, maybe, give or take, and do a few things and so on, because it takes a while to edit. And here I am today. Boom. I built this city out over yesterday, Wednesday, and I did it by just basically every, say, 30 minutes to an hour, I would just turn my chair over here to another laptop, and I would do something like I would add a logger house or something. Because one thing I found with building, to me, it's not good to build more than maybe 2 things at a time, because, like, for example, when I pave all the roads, once you start putting a paved road there, it's going to disable the 2 things on the side of the road by it. So I really only want to do 1 at a time, because I don't want to disable too many things at once. Plus, it just takes a while for the guys to carry the wood there. So when one conversion, for example, from dirt road to a paved road is done, I basically then maybe I'll do the square next to it just about the time they finish that one. Because sometimes, right now I have 4 of these builders. There's 3. I can't remember where the 4th one is. Anyway, I think I only have 3, I guess. So anyway, the builders carry the wood there and drop it off. But sometimes they'll all come to the same square, even when that square, for example, already has 2 wood on it. So 3 of them are coming with 1 more piece of wood. And so if I go ahead and start doing the square next to it, then they can drop that wood off there instead of having to take the wood back and go back to their houses. So what I have now is up here, by the way, overnight, I ended up with something like, I don't know, 8 million or more. And after letting it run all day yesterday, and then I actually stopped it last night, didn't even run it to today until now, because I just logged on to earn my rewards here. Ooh, that's not good. It says 0 hours. Looks like they got another change they made, a bug or something, or a change to the system. Normally, of course, here we would see how many hours to the next reset, and that should be right now about 23 hours and 30 minutes. And I click on it, nothing's happening. So they messed up something, looks like, or they've changed it and I haven't read the announcements. Well, anyway, let me tell you about the rest of the game. I have 3 wineries now, so that's making a lot of money. Sometimes I sell wine bottles as well, in case if there's more than is needed for the wineries. The wineries actually cost $1 million each to build. And of course, I had millions of dollars to do it, okay? And I also had enough money to change all my lumberjack houses to logger houses. I did that first, and then the farmers weren't very busy. So see, like right now, all the farmers are actually asleep. So I didn't turn the farmers into tractors until like way, way, way later in yesterday, when I didn't have much else to do, and I didn't want to spend a lot of time planning. So I didn't do a huge amount of planning. You saw what little planning I did in the last video. So let's go back to what it takes to make the wine. So if we click on this, you see it needs 6 Pinot Noir grapes. That's the grape I chose for this game. I think they may be slower than the other grapes, but I'm not actually sure. And you need 1 wine bottle and 1 oak barrel. So the wine bottles are a little more complicated to make. Let me think. They come from the glass factory over here. So since I have 3 refineries, I went ahead and built 3 glass factories. So in theory, they're making a bottle at least as fast as the wineries are making wine. If you click on this, what does it take to make a wine bottle? You need 3 silicas, which is like what's kind of like comes from the sand. You need chromium and limestone. So these are all basically products that are mined. The sand mine or silica mine is slightly different. It goes on a normal square, and I think it works best in the desert. I think if you put that in a forest, it may not work at all, or it's going to be really, really slow. At the very beginning of the game, I just had one of them, and my warehouses were filling up with silica so fast because I didn't even have I don't think I even had a glass factory then, or maybe one glass factory, but it was making much more than that one glass factory could handle. So one was fine, and all of a sudden, when I built all these extra glass factories, I realized I didn't have enough silica, right? Because each one takes 3 silicas. So then I built 2 more, one here and one here. So that is not the ideal position. So that's again what you learn by playing, right? Maybe these should all be closer together. They should be closer to a warehouse. They should be closer to the gas factory. And it's actually your normal worker guys that carry the silica back and forth. Like a lot of your buildings, they have their own workers built into the building, but the sand factory doesn't. So you got to have the workers for that. I still have not upgraded those workers to the forklift yet, but that's something I should do later. Okay, let's go back to glass factories. Okay, we talked about this. So where does we know the silica then comes from this little guy here. Where does the chromium and the limestone come from? They come from these mines. So you have to be in a area that has a mountain over here, and these types of mines can only be added adjacent to a mountain. And so right now I have 4 of them, and each one can craft a different thing. So if I look at this and I hit the craft button, you can see you can make iron, chromium, and or limestone. So at first I started with 3, and I had each one making one of these different items. The iron is going to be needed to make the oak barrels which is needed to make wine. Okay. So at first I had 1 of each, and then later I had money and time, so I built a 4th one here, and then whichever one I was lowest on, then that's the one I crafted here. And even now what I'll do is, oops, not craft, sorry, I'll go to the truck up here and I'll check my inventory. Even though you have inventory over here, I like to check it here because they're bigger, and then when you click on it, it tells you up here what it is. For example, these 2 bottles look very similar, right? So the one that's a little more round is a wine bottle. That's the bottle only. And then this is the wine that's inside the bottle. Okay, so if you click this one, sorry, that's the rounded one. They switched order because now I have more of these. I think they go in descending order here. So this is the Pinot Noir, which looks a little bit more like a rounded, well, what do you call it, more of a bigger neck on the bottle. You can see the wine sells for almost 600,000. Back to the inventory. See here I have 24 iron, 37. I forget what all these pictures are. That's 37 silica, and the white one is limestone. So you can see like right now I have no chromium. So what I need to do is basically switch like one of my mines to build more chromium. Let's just do that together real quick here. That is making, it's hard to read there. I wish they would make that darker print. See, it says mining chromium. Very fine print right there. This one is mining iron. This one is limestone. That one is finishing limestone. Sometimes I would wait and let this finish since it's green. Let's see, how many limestones do I have? Let me just check. I have 14 limestone. I hate to waste that one though, right? I mean, it's not going to matter at the end of the day. Who cares? It's like, I'm going to just throw that one away. I'm going to say craft and I'm going to say stop. And that means I lose whatever was currently in there, okay? But I just didn't want to wait at the moment. And then you say craft. Now I'm going to switch it to chromium. And all of these take 3 lumber, so you're going to use up a lot of lumber in this game. 3 lumber, 3 energy, and 2 water drums. What I learned before, last time I played with sand mines, you don't want your water pump super close to these because it causes flooding in theory or something like that. I hate this little cloud here too. Sometimes I have to rotate the screen to get out of the way of the cloud. So anyway, they need water, but the right type of water. So really water barrels are the best way to do it. Now, oops. So I had an idea about water the other day. This one is next to a pond, so it's producing pretty fast. And when I only had one or two of these mines, it was actually making too much water. Or actually, it was okay. Well, as I added more mines, what happened is this didn't make enough. At first, it was making too much. And by too much, what I mean is like you look at your warehouses here. If they're all full, you have a problem. Okay, and so you can dump them by hitting flush at the bottom of the screen, or you can sell items in the warehouse. But really, you just don't want them all to be full. So that's why I have quite a few warehouses here because I don't want to sit there watching it every minute just to make sure they're not all full. So gosh, how many I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 warehouses, and one of them is full. So that means if like this guy makes the water, he can't put it in this warehouse. He has to walk all the way over here and put it in that warehouse, okay, or whatever other one he picks. You see, that one's full now too. It just went to 20. So I do have the auto sell script set. Like if I get more than say 20 or 30 water barrels, it will actually sell them. Not that I want the money, I just want them out of my warehouse. And the same thing with the batteries. Here's my batteries, 35. So when I get to something like 35 or 40, the auto sell script will sell about 10 of those. So I have this concept up here. So when I first built these two, I actually just had a water well here, and then this is a water tower. And I purposely did that so they would be slow. And that's also why I put them in the corner. So I didn't want too much water, but I wanted more than what one water facility would give. So I purposely put them far away, and then I didn't have a pond there because they would make too much water. But then later, as I built out more of these mines here, I needed more water. So then I built the pond, and I think now we're doing okay because see, like right now I have 8 water barrels. So they seem to be doing okay right now. Why don't it's 2 out of 3? See, I thought you got 3 out of 3 water when you were next to a pond. Actually, I'm curious why they only have 2 out of 3. If you happen to know that, please leave a message in the comments. Okay, still have my sheet pins here. That was kind of like my fast start. And now I should probably just blow them away. So maybe toward the end of this video, we'll talk about what my next plans are. But first, let me recap what I've already done. In my prior video, we talked about the oil seep here. And you saw my original plan of having a power plant next to it. And let me show you what it looked like again yesterday or Tuesday. So here, right here, you can see I had a power plant kind of right below, let's say, or to the south. I think I consider north kind of where the drivers are, the express trucks or the trucks. So it's like 1 unit south of there. And of course, I have the water pump there. And then I built the 2 lumber mills on each side of that. So they get the water from the water pump and then they get the power from the power plant. Okay. That was my original plan, and I didn't need refineries here because of all the free gas they're giving us, which is, I think, a one-time gift that's going to go away at the end of these 4 days, okay? So that also made the game kind of super easy and fast to build out, more faster than what a normal game would be. So in that plan, you saw I had a lumber mill right here, but then what happened is when I built all these mines, they're needing 2 to 3 energy each, three energies each. And I can't remember, there was something else. I was also doing a lot of building, and the building all needs energies as well. So like every time you build a new logger house, I think that takes 5 energies and so on. So I was getting really, really low on energy. Actually, I'm trying to remember. Oh, this is the guys too. Okay, let's wait till we get a sand mine ready to go. Okay, this sand mine is stocked. If I hit craft on it, see, I think I was getting too much sand again. So every sand mine takes 2 energies. So having 3 sand mines is consuming like 6 energies about every 35 seconds, okay? Or at least every minute. So I was getting really, really low on the energy batteries. So rather than start building crude oil pumps, remember I have the oil seep. So basically, what I learned is I should have put, I think I even said that originally. If I needed another power plant, I would put one there. But I basically had the wood mill or the lumber mill right here. So I had to destroy the lumber mill, put the power plant there. And then when you do craft on the power plant, that's creating an energy or battery every 10 seconds. So now I have two power plants doing that. And I don't even, of course, now I don't need this stupid wind turbine up here at all. So let's get rid of him. And also for the mines, I think there's smarter ways to do it, but I have one power plant here that's giving some passive energy to the mines. And sorry, right now I don't have the count in my head, but like if we look at this one, let's look at one that's building. See, it has 2 out of 3 energy. This one's getting an energy right now. See, now it's 3 out of 3, but I think he was 2 out of 3. So this guy is probably giving 2 energies here and either 1 or 2 here. And I think 1 or 2 here. But this guy, I think, is probably so far away from the power plant, either gets 1 or 0. So those need energies to keep going. And like I said, they all take 3 lumber. So that's why I have 3 lumber mills cranking here. Now, this is a lumber mill as well, but look at it. It's making oak, well, actually making oak barrels. So this is building oak barrel. Takes 3 oak woods, 1 iron, and 1 energy. So that's why you need an iron mine over here to make iron for your oak barrels. And then when you look at your winery over here, your oak barrel is one of the 3 different items that's needed to make wine. And if you didn't hear me say it in the prior video, this is actually my first game where I've ever done wine. So it's not as smart and planned out as it could have been. It was more of a learning experience for these, whatever, 5 or 6 days that we had till the end of the month. I've never been too good at getting my roads straight. I see other people's designs that have these perfect roads. And, now I have the money to do it, but to me, it gets actually kind of boring just sitting there all day, destroy this and build a road and move this over here. That part is just no longer fun to me, right? And I'm not competing. So I'm like, why waste the time on doing that? I want to get my daily rewards and then I just want to learn and have some fun. But to me, just like moving things around to get perfect roads is either a lack of planning, which sometimes I do have, or it's just to me kind of boring. So like here was something I was thinking about remodeling the other day. I already started. I did have 3 logger houses here. And are these the expensive? No, these are the old lumberjack houses. So I really don't even think I need them now. I think I have enough logger houses. I still never figured out the exact ratio, if you really need one of those for every tree farm or what. But anyway, I destroyed this one here. And I think the reason was I was going to start putting a road to connect here. Because, when you have a big chunk like this, you have spots in the middle that are basically unusable. Most things in the game need to be next to a road. So I guess I'm going to build a road right here. That way you have 2 across here and you have 2 across here. So I can't really move this road though because that oil seep there. So again, if I would have planned things better, my roads wouldn't have all these little curves in them. Okay, let's talk about my crops for a minute. Back to the oak barrels. We talked about making oak barrels over here. One of the things I learned at the beginning of the game, I think I built 3 of these oak tree farms, and whoa, I just got way too many oak woods. So, of course, there's 2 types of trees. This is your normal trees that turn into wood, and then this oak wood is a different type of wood, and they will go into your lumber yards or your woodshed, just like any other wood does. And then they'll carry it from there to here to make the oak barrels, and the oak barrels will go, I think, into your warehouses. Yeah, see, there's 5 oak barrels in that warehouse. So right now, it seems like one oak tree farm is enough to keep me going, because you see over here, I have 22 oak barrels right now. And that's more than enough to support 3 wineries, okay? So I overbuilt my oak trees at the beginning. There's no river or anything over here, so I'm getting a lot of water from my NFT water towers here. I'm not sure this design was perfect with the road between them, but they have to be built by a road. This one was basically watering the sheep pens, and this one was basically watering the trees And by having them somewhat close together, a lot of these trees were getting their 7 of water from these two towers. But then the further I got away, I sometimes still had to build ponds for the trees that weren't as close. And then when I get down here, of course, I have to build ponds everywhere. That was just sort of a random design as well. And I still have these wells here for building water ponds when I need it. But you see they're actually empty right now. So I think I still have a few of these areas here that aren't getting enough water. And the Mr. Buggy Puddles or the farmers are actually watering a few little items. So that I have not optimized yet. This was probably a bad idea over here, trying to build more farm area here. So I think the next thing I'll do actually is get rid of the sheep pens here and maybe turn all this into more grapevines, okay? The only problem is some of them are a little bit too close to these farmer tractors, which might probably cause a little pollution or a little shade, which will slow the crops down. So I ideally maybe would move these over here, make this more of another housing area. But every time I destroy and build those, it's 200,000, and just takes 5 or 10 minutes to do it of my time. So again, given only 4 days left, I'm probably not going to do that. Oh, up here, by the way, I have 4 trucks going. And the reason for that is I've got auto sell turned on so many things. And so right now you can see it's more than enough. But there were times earlier in the game where all 4 trucks were off delivering something. So at the very beginning, I'm still selling wheat. That takes a truckload. When I got too many anything, like here, even my silica, for example, if I get over 40 or 50, it sells those just to keep my warehouses down. So those trucks were staying pretty busy. It seems like there's another error right now. I may have to refresh my town. Like one of the trucks is gone. And usually over here, there's a chart showing you your 4 trucks and their status, how long they're gone and when they're coming back. So the fact that truck is gone and I don't see anything over here sounds like a little bit of trouble. The other thing to mention about these vines here, if you look at them, they require 2 water and 1 wood. So you think about every one of these what do you call them? Vine fields. It each needs a wood. So the water is the easy part, but the wood means you got to have a lot of tree farms and a lot of loggers, right? Because your wood is used not only to help grow your new wine or your new vines each time, it's also needed for things like the lumber over here and other places. But fortunately, your loggers and lumberjacks will deliver the wood or the trees or what you're going to call it, the wood, to these vines as needed so that the farmers usually don't have to do it. So see, right now I've got 2 farmers awake and working and 2 farmer tractors are asleep. So I think I have more than enough farmers right now. The other thing is always to keep an eye on is, do you have any grapes or vines in your silo? So right now my silo is empty because these 3 wineries are basically sucking the grapes out of there as fast as they can. So that's really not an issue right now. I may not be making enough grapes actually now for 3 refineries. So I need to build more grapes. And like I said, I may put them here where the woodsheds are. And by the way, a while ago, I talked about like destroying a farm tractor and moving it somewhere else on the board. Of course, that's going to use your in-game money. But if you're competing, that has no effect because your in-game money is not how you win. You win over here by the number of stars you collect. And the stars are based upon production of what you're producing and selling through your trucks. So using this money has no impact on your ranking or your winning status if you are competing. Now, I do have this little monitor script over here, but see, I was still set up for uniforms. So I should actually change the parameters of that script to now do like wine and oak barrels and all that kind of stuff. So I just still haven't had the time to do that. This stuff takes time. It's really kind of a slow moving game, to be honest. It takes days, right? Okay, I'm going to do a refresh off video to see if it fixes. This truck has been gone now for like 5 minutes, so I have no idea where it is and why it didn't come back, and I don't know why I don't have a timer and I can't earn my daily rewards. So I'm just going to see if refreshing fixes that or not. Okay, it's back and I think it's working again. looks like I'm getting ready to sell silica because I think I have it programmed. If I have over 40 silica, it's probably going to sell 10 of them in the auto sell script. Okay, very good. That does seem to fix things. So when it came up, I saw auto sell sending these other trucks away, and this truck came back. And now I see over here all the trucks and their status, like I was telling you. It tells you how many minutes they basically have before they return with their money. Now we see 23 hours, like we should have seen before on our auto sell script. And see, really, all I got to do is log on and wait about, who knows, 20, 30 minutes, and I meet my daily rewards. So it's very easy. Even just having these sheep farms here, or the sheep, what do you call it, wool pens, that'll get my daily rewards. But if one sale of wine comes in, boom, that's my daily reward right there. Easy. So I would call this an intermediate level of the game. It was really only after a day and a half of playing it. And you can see I have many empty squares yet to be filled. And again, if I want to put the effort in it just for the 3 or 4 days left, I might try to build it out of more just to keep learning and figuring out what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong with the winery and stuff. And again, what I would probably do is get rid of the sheep pens and build more grapevines everywhere. So as Forrest Gump would say, that's all I have to say about that. So I'll see you on the next video. Have a good rest of the week.